May I give a short bio?
Yeah, an I.O. Yeah, I don't know what an I.O. is, but you can give it.
Thank you.
Oh, bio.
A bio,
okay.
yes.
Sorry. No, you can't give a bio. Unless it's your own. I'm interested.
Definitely my own.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Many years ago, we
Can use this one. Come here. There's no battery, you see. There you go.
Thank you, Venerable. So, many years ago, we first learned of Bhante Sunyo on his talk that he gave with a workshop that he gave with Ajahn Brahm, and we were very, very delighted. So we asked, we asked Ajahn Brahm whether Bhante Sunyo could come to Singapore, and Ajahn Brahm said, "Yeah, why not?" So we were very, very happy that even though Bhante was not even 10 years in.
I think I was 33 already or something.
And
You have to be 20 years to be a bhikkhu.
oh, yeah, okay. Point taken. But less than 10 reigns. So I mean, it's a testament and a compliment to you that you were allowed to come to Singapore, and you wowed everybody with your patches, and down to earth, wisdom, practicality, application, the Dharma, and we were very, very happy. But Ajahn Brahm also told us about your pizza joke.
Oh, yeah. This is where the bio stops.
So, Bhante, over to you. We are so happy that you're here. Oh, and I also want to introduce to the group your excellent book. So sorry. Seeds, paintings, and a beam of light. The similes for dependent arising by Bhikkhu Sonyo. And the best thing about it is it has pictures. It's such a good book. Thank you, Bhante, for putting this out. It's a clear explanation of Nama Rupa, consciousness, and I loved it very much. It gave me many amount of happiness in the toilet. Thank you. I loved it. Thank you.
Don't throw books down the toilet. That's not what it's supposed to be. Yeah, Ajahn Brahm often says, don't write books. So that shows I don't listen to Ajahn Brahm. No, I must listen to Ajahn Brahm. A little bit at least. Because he allowed me to be here. And I feel very honored that Ajahn Brahm allows me to give a talk today on his retreat. I'm sorry that he's not here. And that I have to substitute him. But I'm also happy that you invited me. That it gives me a lot of happiness. And I'm happy that you're here as well. And again, sorry that there is a substitute teacher today. Well, when I was a young boy, when there was a substitute teacher, there was always the opportunity to have lots of fun. So you want to have some fun as well? Yes. Yeah, not the kind of fun I had as a boy. Because then you always can mess around, you know. When there's a substitute teacher, because they're only there for one day anyway, and you don't really respect them as much as your own teacher. Well, you can mess around if you want to. Somebody's leaving already. Just walk out of the classroom. That's okay. Well, I'm sure Ajahn Brahm has given you lots of nice stories. Talked a lot about meditation in the way he usually does. I'm always surprised how many stories Ajahn Brahm has. When I listened to him as a layperson, I thought, the monk's life must be full of adventures. They experience all these things. Like every week he seems to experience some grand adventure. And I found out it's actually not for me. It's actually it's not boring, but I don't have too many stories, it seems. That's like this range retreat that just ended, as you know. What story can I tell? Wow.
Pizza story.
Oh, the pizza story, but that's from many years ago. Okay, maybe I can tell the pizza story then. It has nothing to do with what I was going to talk about. But maybe it does. Because it's about having a positive attitude and making some fun. And that's also important in meditation. I'll talk about meditation later. But in the spirit of Ajahn Brahm, you have to also tell some stories. So this is the pizza story. I never wanted to tell it, actually. But Ajahn Brahm has been spreading the already from a few years ago when it happened. He was saying, ask Sunyo to tell about the pizza story to the layperson, people. And I was like, because it paints me in a bad light. Anyway, in Bodhinyana Monastery, when it's the evening time, around 6 o'clock until 7 o'clock, some of the monks come together and just have a cup of tea. Usually it's just like 4 or 5 or maybe something like that. You don't have to come. And that's also the time that Ajahn Brahm sits there so that people can call on the telephone. Yeah? And so he doesn't have to answer the telephone all day. It's only between 6 and 7. Don't start calling him now, you're still on retreat. But that time there's also an assistant monk who picks up the telephone and makes sure that this call is actually important for Ajahn Brahm, and maybe the assistant monk can deal with it himself. So they sit upstairs where we also have our food. But we also used to have a telephone downstairs. Yeah. And one day, me and another monk, we were sitting downstairs in the little office we used to have. Now it's part of the kitchen because the kitchen got expanded. But we sat there, just a little bit bored. And so I picked up the telephone. Yeah, let's see, telephone. And I typed in the number of the, I think you shouldn't do that because it's maybe some other telephone. This is a better telephone. So I picked up the telephone, dialed the upstairs number, because it's a different line, yeah? And then the assistant monk picked up. And I said, hello, it's Antonio. This is a little bit racist, I'm sorry. It's Antonio from Mario's pizza place. Yeah. So as you know, you're on retreat, you're not supposed to eat pizza in the afternoon. You're not supposed to eat anything at all, let alone pizza. But I said, it's a Mario from Antonio. It's Antonio from Mario's pizza place. Doesn't matter who it was, because it wasn't anyway. I'm in front of the gate with the order for pizza. But the gate is closed. Can you come open? And then this assistant monk was, what? Somebody ordered a pizza? And we were downstairs like, oh well, that's the kind of thing you sometimes do because you just make some fun of life. Because don't take life so seriously. Yeah? Maybe I should talk about that. Or don't take your meditation so seriously as well. Another time it was the 1st of April. So this is also a day for making jokes. So the day before, in the night before, I went to the workshop and found an old toilet that wasn't used, just the thing with the lid. So what I did is I took it I carried it upstairs to the dining place where we ate. And then we have this little back room where we store the mats and where you can wash some stuff. And maybe some of you have seen it. So I put that toilet in there. Yeah, and I got a newspaper and I put it there. And I put all these toilet rolls there. And I got out some picture of a female in a dress, because the monks wear the dress, and I put that on the door, the toilet picture. And then I left, and just the next day, first monk who came thought somebody had broken in and was sort of messing with us. But Ajahn Brahm, he saw it, and he immediately was like, that's April's Fool's joke. So he sat on there with the newspaper. And I came later because I think I didn't have breakfast. Usually I don't come for breakfast, so I come late for the work meeting. And then I sat down there, and I was also like, funny, just pretending like I didn't know with it. And then the monk said, "Sunyo, you did it, didn't you?" Well, let's just say it's April's Fool. Yeah, I like this word frivolous. It's like being a bit joyful, a bit playful. And not take things so seriously, because if you take things seriously, you get so tense. And now I'm going to be serious and talk about meditation. So I'm sure Ajahn Brahm has been talking a lot about peace and happiness in meditation. Is that right? Yeah? So who of you has experienced peace and happiness? Raise your hand if you've experienced a lot of restlessness and suffering in your meditation. Well, let's do it again so people can see. Who has experienced suffering and restlessness in their meditation in this retreat? Oh, wow. Almost everybody has their hands up. And as I always say, I'm sure the people who don't have their hands up, they're probably fast asleep. So, suffering is part of meditation, right? Imagine you got born and you were enlightened already. Would you need to meditate? No. There would be no need for meditation. So, don't be afraid of suffering. Don't be averse to suffering in your meditation. I read this book called Man's Search for Meaning. Yeah, that some people know. It's by Viktor Frankl. This was a psychologist. I think he was Austrian or German or something. Anyway, he was a Jew living about 80, 90 years ago, when it was the Second World War. Yeah? And he, along with his family, because they were Jews, you probably all know what kind of things happened in the Second World War, they were taken to a concentration camp. Different camps for different parts of the family. And of course, horrible things happened there. And you think, how am I going to survive in such a situation? You get barely any food, you have to work very hard, there's lots of diseases. It's completely horrible. I won't go into the details, I can't because I haven't experienced it myself. Read the book if you want to at some point, but you might think, how are you going to survive that situation? He obviously survived. He wrote a book about it afterwards, that book, Man's Search for Meaning. You might think, the people who survive must be the strong people, who have lots of muscle and You know those kind of people. But he wrote, the people who survived and the people who did not survive were not distinguishable by their physique. The people who did not survive were the people who gave up hope. And the people who did survive, they were the people who always found meaning in the suffering that they experienced. And they always found a certain purpose in their suffering. And his purpose was to tell the story afterwards of what happened. And because he wanted to tell that story so badly, that he decided kept him alive. And he was a psychologist, so in this book he also goes into the psychology of giving life a meaning. Yeah? Life does not have an intrinsic meaning as such, by which I mean it's not the case that there is one meaning and we all strive towards that bigger meaning. You have to give life your own meaning. Viktor Frankl says in that book, and this touched me really deeply, it was really helpful for me. I hope it's also helpful for you. He says, it's not about what you expect from life, but about what life expects from you. And why that was so helpful for me is you can use that attitude for meditation. Your practice, this retreat, it's not about what you expect from your meditation. It's about what your meditation expects from you. If you sit down and these monks, they talk about all this happiness and peace, so I'm gonna get it now. That's what I expect to get out of this retreat. Yeah, I've been here for, how many days have you been here? 7, 8 days already. I should be in the jhanas already. I should be enlightened already. I expect better from myself. Yeah? Stupid mind. Why are you still thinking about the past, the future? In the first talk, Ajahn Brahm already said to let go of the past and the future, I suspect. Yeah. He usually does so. And I'm still thinking about it. No, don't think like that. Now you're expecting things. You're craving things. You're like, I shouldn't be here right now. I should be there. I shouldn't be restless. I shouldn't be doubtful. I shouldn't be this and that. I should be peaceful and content. I should be this, that. Yeah. They call that shooting on yourself. Yeah. You shoot this, shoot that. Just call it. I didn't make up that myself. That's what people call it. Shooting on yourself. But that is expecting things from your meditation. Can you change your attitude around? Yeah? In meditation, it's so important, in my experience, not just about the techniques that you might be taught, like focus on the breath or whatever, but also have this like wider picture of why do I meditate and how do I relate to meditation itself. And we often can forget about that, just sit down and don't really think about let's say, meta meditation. Does that make sense? Yeah, the attitude about meditation. But for me, that is so much of the practice of meditation is how do you relate to it? So I'm asking you, can you change your perspective? Instead of asking, what do I expect from my meditation? Ask yourself, what is my meditation expecting from me? Yeah? So you don't sit down with certain goals or expectations. You just sit down and just ask yourself, what is here right now? And how can I learn anything from this? And you'll find that often what is here right now is suffering. Yeah? You might not want to sit here. You might want to do something else. You might want to check your phone or I don't know what. Yeah? And that is kind of suffering. And then you're like, I should be better. No, just, this is here right now. Do I need to get rid of that? No. Just, can you see if you can learn from that? Can you get anything out of that? Then you give that suffering a meaning. Yeah? It's from suffering that we learn. Suffering is our teacher. Yeah? And then every moment in meditation has purpose. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be deep meditation. Doesn't have to be jhana, stream entry, whatever. It doesn't have to be peaceful even. It can be suffering, and it's just as meaningful as the peace. And because there's no intrinsic meaning in things, it's what you give to it. So if you say, this suffering right here, right now, that is what I want, that's what I need, because that's what I can learn from. Yeah? If you are restless or doubtful, sleepy, whatever, ill will, that means you still have something to learn about those things. Yeah? If you have ill will, it still means you need to learn a bit about compassion and kindness. So then, ill will, thank you for being here, because now I can learn about it. Yeah? And because I need to learn about it, apparently, otherwise I wouldn't have ill will. Am I making sense? Yeah? Because, so what I'm saying is, what you're experiencing is exactly what you need to experience. Otherwise you wouldn't experience it. Right? So then you can be content with whatever happens in your meditation. I like these meditations where I sit down, not expecting anything, and I just... When I fall asleep in meditation, my first reaction is always, this is okay. This is fine. I don't need to be annoyed with myself. And I suppose Ajahn Brahm has taught you the same, because he often teaches the same thing. Yeah? Don't go like, I need to be aware. Because sometimes that's helpful actually. But what I'm getting at is the attitude you have towards why you want to be aware. Yeah? If you say, I need to be aware because it's bad to be sleepy. Yeah? Sleepiness is useless. Yeah? Or if you have the attitude, I need to be content and peaceful because restlessness is bad. Restlessness is useless. I am a bad meditator because I'm restless. If you have that attitude, then meditation will never work. So for years and years now, it's been my approach, and of course I've been kind of taught by Ajahn Brahm to do this, is always start with the kindness, the kindfulness. Always start there. You can never go wrong with kindness, an acceptance of this moment. And one way to accept this moment is what I said, to know that whatever your experience is something you can learn from. It's there for a purpose. It's not something you should push away because it's useless. Yeah? And that makes meditation so much more easy. Okay, that's all. Little story. And this is from the Vinaya, the monk's rules. There's lots of nice stories in there. And there's this story about the Buddha's doctor. He was called Jivaka. And the Buddha's doctor, he grew up as kind of an orphan, actually, because his mother abandoned him when he was young. And he was raised by a king. So he actually got quite a pleasant life, but never knew who his mother was. But anyway, that's not the part of the story that's interesting. What is interesting is when he lived for a few years with that king, he thought, well, this king is not really my father, so I can't really expect too much from him. I should find my own way of making a living, not just rely on this generosity of this king or prince, whatever it was. So I should find a job. Yeah? And I want to be a doctor, so I can help people and get healthy. So he trained with other doctors, yeah? Especially one teacher, and in this time it was like Ayurveda medicine. They still have that in India and other places of the world, but that's what he was trained in for 7 years. Yeah? He was trained by that doctor in all the kind of things, and that was actually quite complicated because they even did brain operations. You have these ancient texts of the Ayurveda, which are just as old as the suttas, and they talk about brain operations and things like that, and even the Vinaya talks about it, but also medicines and whatever. I'm not a doctor. All the things that the doctors needed to be taught at the time. He was taught all of that. And then he had his final exam. Yeah? You're probably all not in school anymore, but you remember your final exams. Ooh, what's it gonna be? Well, his teacher told him, Jivaka, which means survivor. He was a survivor because he was abandoned as a child, but found by that prince. He said, Jivaka, for your final exam, I want you to go in a radius of 15 kilometers around this place. I think it was Rajagaha. Around this place. Go through the forests and fields and the hills and the mountains and find any kind of plant or herb or root that you cannot use to treat people with some kind of illness. And then come back to me with those plants. And so Jivaka set out, searching throughout all the hills and forests and fields, looking at all the plants. What plants can't you use to treat anybody? Those he should take back to his teacher. And after a long time, he came back to his teacher, and he showed him empty hands. He said, there was not any plant that I could not use in some way to treat people. And then the teacher said, excellent, Jivaka, you passed the test. You are a real good doctor because you know that any kind of plant you can use. And why am I telling you this story? Is because every kind of experience in meditation you can use. Nothing is useless. Nothing doesn't have a purpose. It's only if you decide that it's useless, that's when it really becomes useless. But if you decide, this is excellent, I want to suffer all day long, that's excellent. Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit. That would be a good attitude to have maybe, but in a way. But if you know that everything you experience in your meditation is useful, then you're like Jivaka. You know, you can use it all. The hindrances are just as useful as the jhanas. Does that make sense? Can you have that attitude? Why is only success, so-called success, useful? That's not what life is about. It's about the path to things, about learning from everything that we experience. We can always give it a meaning. And for me, that kind of, as I said, metta meditation is so useful, because that's what makes you kind of sit down and just, whatever happens, I'm good. I'm going to give this a meaning. It's like, did Ajahn Brahm tell the story about the mosquitoes in Thailand already during this retreat? Yeah. As I said, my life as a monk is not adventurous at all, so I have to steal Ajahn Brahm's stories. No, yeah, I've got my own stories, but they're only about pizzas and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway, they're not wise at all. No, well, maybe they are. Anyway, There's this story, Ajahn Brahm, when he was living with Ajahn Chah in Thailand. Yeah? They used to meditate outside in the afternoon, every day, for a couple of hours. And Ajahn Brahm said, I'm sure he specifically chose the time when the most of the mosquitoes are out. Yeah? And you're not allowed to use a net to sit under. You have to sit out there in the open, not allowed to sit in your hut with the shutters closed. You had to sit there. And he said, the mosquitoes, they have been eating Thai blood for so many years. So it's like in Bodhiana Monastery, every day there's rice and dal. And sometimes something new comes. And then all the monks, something new. And they go, let's have this something new. And it's the same, Ajahn Brahm says, when I came to Thailand, the mosquitoes were like, something new, Western blood. Yummy, yummy. So they all came to me. And they're all sitting on my arm, because we usually have this arm bare, especially in Thailand where it's hot. And they all sit on this arm. And me and another Western monk used to count how many mosquitoes there were. And they were all stinging us. And sometimes we counted about 70 mosquitoes on one arm. They're all stinging us. When I was in Thailand, I did see many mosquitoes. And it can be quite annoying. They, for some reason, they didn't itch afterwards. So that is good. But unlike Australian mosquitoes. In Rotterdam also, surprisingly many mosquitoes anyway. But where I'm from. But Ajahn Brahm said, this Ajahn Chah is stupid. How can I meditate like this with all these mosquitoes? Yeah? This is a useless meditation session because I'm just suffering here. And then I think it was Ajahn Chah himself who said, these mosquitoes are your teacher. So he said, it's Ajahn mosquito. Ajahn means teacher. Ajahn mosquito. And I'm saying everything that suffering can be your teacher. Ajahn dukkha. Yeah, why can not dukkha be your Ajahn? Ajahn suffering. Sit, meditate. The body hurts. The mind is restless. It's my teacher. Sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for visiting me today, teacher, and coming to teach me about suffering. Yeah, that's great, isn't it? If you can meditate like that. And I know it's a little bit of a silly way maybe to look at it, but it is very helpful as well. Yeah. Do you think that might be helpful? Yeah? Give it a shot anyway. See if you can change your attitude. It can be a bit tricky because sometimes you're like, okay, Sunyo told me to change my attitude about meditation. So if I change my attitude about meditation, then I will be peaceful. Yeah, you recognize this, right? Yeah. I'm gonna do the trick so that I will be peaceful. So the purpose of this teaching by Ajahn Sunyo must certainly be to be peaceful. So now I expect to be peaceful with this trick. Yeah? But you have to go deeper than that. You really have to convince yourself somehow that it's not to be peaceful, but that really this moment itself is good enough because you can learn from it. And if you learn from this moment, then your life becomes very rich. Because there's many, many moments in this life. And you can learn something from every moment, including in your meditation. Yeah? And this is so great about meditation. Sometimes it works, often it doesn't work. Well, what do we mean by work anyway? Yeah? But I never regret any meditation. Have you ever regretted your meditation? Not afterwards, right? But while you're in it, like, why am I here? Why did I come to Jhana Grove? I should have stayed at home. I could have been doing this. I always like to exaggerate like that, but you recognize that attitude probably, yeah, to some extent. Why is it not lunchtime already? Why am I sitting here? Yeah? afterwards you're always happy though. I did it, I meditated. Yeah, might not be the deepest peace, but I did it, I'm proud of that. I learned something, even if it's something very, very small. So can you have that attitude from the beginning? Oh yeah, I'm gonna expect nothing, but I do know that if I do this, I'll be respectful of myself afterwards, because I went through this. I said before that I read this book by Viktor Frankl, which is about searching for meaning, and that he's a psychologist. I like to sometimes get into psychology a little bit, not too much, because it can be a bit of a distraction, but I find it helpful to have these extra tools sometimes. Yeah? And one psychological tool that I was taught in a book called Feeling Good, is like to, if you have trouble motivating yourself to do certain things, and I often have trouble motivating myself to exercise, for example, which I know I need. My body just needs exercise. And if you have trouble motivating yourself, then before you do something, make a list, write down what you want to do, and then give a grade out of 1 of 10 of how good you expect the outcome to be, or how happy you'll be afterwards that you did that. Yeah? And then it's always like, exercise, it sucks, I don't want to do it, okay, a 2 out of 10 it's going to be. It's not going to be that great. But then you do it, and then the idea is that afterwards you grade it again. Yeah? So then you grade it. Oh yeah, I actually feel quite good now, yeah. And I often find like then it's like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm so happy afterwards. But beforehand you're like, I don't want to do it. Can be the same with meditation. Here we go again, meditate again. I have to sit for, I don't know how long. I have to sit for an hour or whatever you set yourself. I don't want to do it. Do it anyway. Yeah? And see how you feel afterwards. And compare your attitude before to your attitude afterwards. Before you're like, meditation, I'm not going to enjoy this. 1 out of 10. 0 out of 10, I don't know. Maybe you do know. After some time you know that it's going to be good. So. But afterwards, if you usually do feel better, right? I hope so anyway. Yeah. Do you? Yeah, usually? Yeah. Maybe not always the same with exercise. Sometimes, I don't know, you hurt yourself or whatever. But most of the time, you feel better. And so that changes your long-term attitude, because it changes your way you look at it. Yeah? And you know that it's always going to be useful no matter what, whether it is deep peace or deep restlessness. You can learn something from it. And maybe I should finish with another story of Jivaka, because that's I've been talking about that anyway, so I can sort of fit that in. So this was Jivaka. He became a doctor. He got his degree because of what I told you before. He could treat anybody with any kind of thing. Then there is in the Vinaya this whole story how he treated this person, that person, and so forth. But at some point, he was asked to treat a rich merchant. And this rich merchant, like a salesman, maybe we could call him a CEO these days or something like that, whatever. And let's say it was, what is a rich CEO these days? Elon Musk, yeah. He was treating Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk has had a headache for 7 years. And the Sutta 7 is always a number with some special significance, I don't know. But anyway, for 7 years he's had this headache continuously. Actually, maybe Elon Musk gives us a headache, but anyway, don't go into politics. Maybe it was bad to choose Elon Musk anyway. It wasn't Elon Musk, it was somebody in India. Forget about Elon Musk. So it was a rich merchant in India, and he had a headache for 7 years. And then Jivaka told him, okay, I can probably get rid of that for you. I know I can, yeah? But there's going to be a bit of a problem, because after I give you this operation, you'll have to lie still for 7 months.
on your left side, then for 7 months on your back, and then for 7 months on your right side. That's just because you need to heal afterwards. Are you sure you can do that? And the merchant says, yes, I can do that. Just treat my headache. And okay, so Jivaka did his brain operation. It turned out that there were bugs in the merchant's brain crawling around. And Jivaka took them out. And then he said, okay, but it's not done yet. Now you have to lie on your left side for 7 months, and on your back for 7 months, and on your right side for 7 months. Otherwise you'll die. You need to heal from this. I said to the merchant, I can't do that. That's way too long. 7 months. I'd rather die than lie for 7 months, 7 months, 7 months. And Jivaka said, but you said you could do it. Well, no, I can't. I'm sorry. And then Jivaka said, well, actually, you only need to lie on your side for 7 days, and on your back for 7 days, and on your right for 7 days. Can you do that? The merchant had a sigh of relief. Yeah, I can do that. And then Jivaka said, I said it on purpose, that it's going to be 7 months on your side and 7 months on your back, because then you thought it was going to be much worse than it actually is. And it's only this long. So, if you want to meditate for an hour, maybe tell yourself, I should meditate for 7 hours. Well, because 1 hour is not going to do anything. Yeah? If I want to heal, I need to meditate for 7 hours. Okay, here you go, then 7 hours. Then 1 hour becomes very easy. Yeah? And then after 1 hour, you're like, yeah, it actually helped already. I didn't need to sit for 7 hours. So, that's the stories of Jivaka, and the stories about pizzas, and toilet jokes on the 1st of April. I hope that's useful. So, to summarize what I've taught you, and which I stole from Viktor Frankl, it's not about what you expect from your meditation. It's about what your meditation expects from you. In that way, every moment becomes useful, and suffering becomes your teacher. So let's say sadhu sadhu to Ajahn Dukkha. Yeah, not to me, but to whatever you've experienced in your do this honestly from the bottom of your heart. Whatever suffering you experienced in this meditation retreat, say sadhu to it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. All right. Please enjoy your last few days. And I might see some of you tomorrow when we do the Katina. He fell asleep as well, see? That's all right. Thank you all for listening. It's always nice. Thank you.